Okay, we're going to be going over a little brief overview of Cumulative Delta and how to utilize that with your trading. Okay, this site that we are on right now is Tradovate. I use Tradovate for Cumulative Delta because it comes straight from CME, which is the company that you also purchase your futures contracts from if you're using NQ, ES, or RTY. Okay, with Cumulative Delta basically is people that are hitting the bid or are hitting the ask. You'll see this fluctuation that's going on right here for the bid and for the ask. That's because of after hours trading is going on right now, but we're not going to be using that. I'm going to be showing you whether you use my strategy or if you use any other strategy in the futures market, how you can utilize Cumulative Delta to be able to enter properly for your executions. Okay, so what we see here is when we have our 9:30 candle price shot down this morning. For most of the day, it was in sales and price kind of took off to the downside because we had a major sell-off to earlier in the day and towards the prior day's evening. Okay, on no on sorry about that, September 2nd. Okay, so with Cumulative Delta, once sellers are hitting the ask and they're pushing price down, you'll see these larger bars kind of push down. And when you see them highlighted in red like this, that is basically showing that they are aggressive moves and they are aggressively pushing price down. You will see also times where these bars turn gray. That's when it's kind of just passive sellers or the algorithm is just kind of moving down. When you see this aggression flip, that's kind of letting you know that buyers are kind of stepping in, trying to hit the bid to push price back up. Okay. Just because you may see them step in, that doesn't always necessarily mean the price will always reverse and continue going back to the upside, right? You want to see the aggression. Right here, you'll start to see the aggression when price was still kind of trending down. And when I say price, I'm talking about actually on the candles, but this is the cumulative delta. So when the cumulative delta starts to rise after they were hitting the ask and they pushed it down on this candle right here at 948, you see that the delta did what we call a delta flip. Okay, delta flipped up aggressively and then it continued to push back up aggressively. So when you see delta start to flip like this, you're going to also notice that once it flips and then it continues pushing more towards the upside, we're going to have explosive movements up as buyers are hitting the bid, and that's what pushes price up. And this is how you find your exact entries, whether you trade the system that I'm showing you as far as the VWAP, whether you trade ICT concepts or any other concepts that you may have or ideas you have towards your actual trading strategy. Okay, this is just to show you how to capitalize using cumulative delta. Same thing right here. After price went up and it started to push back down because cumulative delta was getting pushed down, we have another delta flip right here. As price was going down, we have this delta flip. Well, delta was still pushing down, and you see right here it kind of pushed back up into it a little bit. Then we had an aggressive candle move up, and we had another one. Even though it was short-lived, later on, buyers slowly started to send the market back up. So when you see delta rising, price should be rising with it. That's how you know that price is in alignment with the delta. If you see if you see delta rising but price is not following along, that means typically that there is a trap, and you should be aware that somebody is going to end up trapped. So if price is diverging from the delta, meaning that delta is going up but price is continuing to push down, you may want to exit the trade or kind of wait to let them figure out exactly which direction that they want to go in before you are actually placing your trade or continuing to stay inside of a trade. Okay, so delta flips are going to happen continuously out the day, anytime that the market is moving. But this is how you find key reversals, or if price starts to trend upwards, you will find times where delta constantly kept rising and rising and rising, and sellers were getting squeezed out. Okay, not saying that it will never turn around, but you have to be aware when you start seeing these candles that are repeatedly green, 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 that means price is getting pushed up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the chart and I'm going to show you this situation right here. This is a trade that I took earlier on a 949 candle. Okay, so let's go to the chart. Now, right here is the same chart for September the 2nd of 2025. I'm just going to move this down, expand this a little bit to the right. So once we go here, what do we see? Right here on this 948 candle, this is the same candle that I showed you guys a couple minutes ago, a couple seconds ago, that this is when the delta flip happened right here, and then price continued to trend up for a short period of time. Okay, this is ES future. So if you didn't get in on this flip, when the flip happened on this 948 candle and you waited, price pulled back and then it continued to push up. Okay, right here, price is at 63.98. Okay, ES moves $50 a point. So for every point, you would have made $50 as price went up. So we're just gonna drop a couple horizontal rays right here just to give you guys an idea of what that equates to. So 63.98, and if you would have stayed in this trade, let's say even if you would have got out on this candle right here, right, which this is a 1 minute chart, and so basically 1, 2, 3 candles, right, from 398 to 411, right there, that's over a $500 trade, right, in a matter of 3 minutes, just going through and watching when the delta flip happens. And it initially happened on this 948 candle, and then it pushed up into these 3 candles. You made over 500 bucks in a very short period of time. Now, if you stayed in and you let it go up until it got a little bit higher, then this trade could have turned out to be over $1,000 trade, right? And you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 candles. So in 12 minutes, you could have made over $1,000. Or in 3 minutes, you could have made $500, called it a day, because that's still a great trade, right? So that's how the delta flips work when you catch delta flipping, or if you catch a continuation, because once it flipped from negative on the 947 candle that's highlighted, you will see at the bottom of the screen, right underneath the cross arrows, there it says 947, 948. That's when you got your flip. So if you necessarily didn't get in on this candle, you took the 949. That's why I showed you could have made $500 over those 3 candles, right? We're going to go back to Tradovate, and we're going to see right here, right? This was your 947 candle. As I said, your 948 candles when the flip happened. So even if you didn't get in on that 948 candle, you had 1, 2, 3 bars right there where you made 500 until it got a little bit, I want to say, let me just make sure so I'm going to give you guys the right time here. 10 o'clock candle. That was the 10 o'clock candle where it totally changed, right? And as you see here, your 10 o'clock candle is this green candle that's right here. So the delta did flip back to the downside because we did have some pullbacks in there, but then it also flipped back and pushed back up, and that's when you got that exit. So right here, you would have had that $1,000 play on that entry. Okay. I'm going to give you another couple examples, and I'm going to kind of wrap this up. I just want to give you guys an idea and show you guys how this works. Okay, so let's take, for example, let's see right here, right? Okay, we have our delta that shoots down, 1135, and then we have delta that pushes up, but this candle is red, right, at 1136. So be mindful when you see the delta moving in a different direction with a different color, right? And what I mean by that is how I was pushing down, then this one delta pushed up, but it was still red. So this was at 1135 and this was 1136. Now we see that price, well, delta did push up, but let's go to the chart so we can kind of line that up, right? And we were at 1136, as I said. So we're going to find our 1136 candle. Let me actually get these indicator off the chart. Sorry about that. All right, so in a case like this, this is our 1136 candle, and like I told you, right, be mindful when you see a delta flip, but the candle it's still showing highlighted in red, right? Because as we see, even though the delta was moving up at that time period, price kind of consolidated around and it still pushed down, and eventually it started to come back up. Okay, we want to find other opportunities, such as we'll go to this time right here at 12:48 p.m. when it pushed down and then it started to push back up. Okay, now I just wanted to highlight that other one just to kind of show you guys to be mindful if you see delta pushing up but it's still showing red, to you want to kind of watch out for those type of trades. Okay, 12:48 and 12:49 candles, right? This was another trade opportunity that I took advantage of earlier today. So what I'm bringing this to you guys' attention for is because like today, it was none of those A plus setups that is in the playbook that I placed inside of the Discord. Okay, none of them really happened today. We did have some volume spikes here, here, here. This one right here was the main one when we had the spike on the 947 candle and the 948. Then we pushed up because we had that nice delta flip right here, right? But as I showed you, it was, I believe, right here when we had that delta flipped up after the downside, but it was delta was still kind of floating up, a price chopped around. That's the ones that we want to stay away from. Now back to the 1249, 1248, 1249 candles, right? So that was another trade opportunity that I took advantage of. So 1248, 1249, we were right here, right? We had this red delta candle that moved downwards, even though delta was still kind of pushing up and it kind of chopped its way up. We had our flip right here, even though it was a gray bar, right? Okay, it moved upwards, right? And then it left this bracket from this bracket, like the lines are kind of a little bit faint, but it's a bracket right here that moved up into this next bracket on this green candle right here. So once we see the aggressive buyers step in, right, and that was on the 950 candle, then that's the candle that we want to be looking more to start getting in. Now we see the delta flip and it goes from, as I showed you in the other bar, the bar moved down, now it moves up. Okay, if this opens up and you start to see the aggression moving in and you also see the volume on your chart at the same time, then those are opportunities, are high opportunities that you want to take advantage of if you don't see any A1 setups. So I said, if you didn't get in once it kind of flipped, just because the bar was still gray, and we said, okay, we're going to get in on the 1250 candle once this one turned green and volume spiked up. Okay, so we got from 1250 to 1255. Okay, so head back over to the chart here, and then we can look at 1250 to our 1255 candles right here. So we're going to do the same thing over, and we're going to just highlight right here. So if we did get in on this candle right here, and if we decided to exit on this candle right here, another situation where, depending upon where exactly you would have got in on this candle, whether you did get in exactly after you seen the flip and price broke the high of this candle right here, that would have got us in at 63.82 and it moved up to 63.90 if you just decided to get out, right? Nothing exactly told you to get out, and some people will get scared out after the price kind of floats up and you have a pullback, depending upon where you place your stop loss at and everything like that. Some people might have rolled this trade all the way up, and you could have had another excellent trade if you decided to kind of stick in there, right? But if you didn't, you decided to get out early, you have from 63.82 to 63.90. That's another $8 move. So if you would have got in exactly when the flip happened, that could have been easily another $400. I gave you the example earlier where you could have made 500 to 1,000 back here when this flip happened on this candle, whether you would have got in on this one and you just moved up and caught these three candles for 500, or you would have exited on this one and made 1,000. Situation right here, didn't get in on the flip when it happened on here, waited till it opened up, price moved up, got in as you got into profit, move your stop loss up to protect your position, and in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, you could have easily made another $400. Like I said, as ES moves $50 a point, 8 times 5, 400. You made 500 here to possibly 1,000 here. So even if you made 500 here in 3 minutes, and then in this next 5 minutes over here, you turned around and made you another 400, you just had a $900 day. If you would have hung out, let it kind of manipulate itself up as it did, then this could have easily turned into almost another $1,000 play right here, as it price got up to here up to 410, right? Or depending upon where you decide to get out at. So another 400 to possibly another $1,000 play right there. So that's my video on Cumulative Delta and how to utilize that to help your trading. Like I said, regardless of whether you use my strategy, regardless of whether you want to use ICT concepts or any other strategy, this is something that you can take advantage of to help you in your trading. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good evening.